AJ, thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. There's no one I trust more to synthesize data and share the findings with our community. So please introduce yourself for those who don't know you.
Thank you so much. I'm Addae, and I'm the founder and CEO of Sula Labs, which is a product development and testing laboratory that makes cosmetics for beauty brands focusing on melanin-rich skin and textured hair. I'm also a PhD candidate, so I'm very well in publishing and reading findings.
Fabulous. So today, a new study came out by Silent Spring Institute that is one of the most, if not the most comprehensive study of hair extensions. So I want us to go through the findings and dig out all the important pieces that people should care about. So let's talk about an overview of the study, how it was designed, the methodologies, and what was found.
Yeah, so the purpose of the study is to understand what is found in hair extensions, because there really hasn't been a study that has gone this in depth yet. So they took hair extensions across multiple categories: synthetic hair, bio-based hair, and using a non-targeted analytical approach, they identified almost 200 chemicals across multiple categories that are found in hair extensions.
And of course, Rebundle falls under the bio-based. So let's go through the results. What did they find?
First, I want to clarify what bio-based even means. So bio-based can either be human hair or it can be something derived from a plant source, even though technically something derived from a plant source could be considered synthetic, but that's neither here nor there. But what they did is they tested across different types of chemical classes, such as chemicals found on California's Prop 65 list. And they were also specifically looking for organotin because it's a chemical compound that is not necessarily allowed in cosmetics. Rebundle didn't appear to have organotin, but it did appear to contain a low amount of phthalates.
And what are phthalates?
Yeah, great question. So phthalates are a class of chemicals called plasticizers, which are used to make plastics more flexible. But historically in cosmetics, they're used to make things like fragrance stick for a long time, such as in fragrances, and also sometimes used in nail products. Now, I will say not all phthalates are created equally. The ones that are most strongly linked to endocrine disruption aren't really used in cosmetics because the FDA regulates typically against those. But exposure is all about hazard and risk. Phthalates are found everywhere in the environment. And just because phthalates were found doesn't necessarily mean that they were intentionally used either, or that it even may be harmful to the end user.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the first things that raised a red flag for me, because I know in our formulation process, we're very intentional about what we're not including. Mm-hmm. So if we didn't include a phthalate in our formulas, how could it end up there?
That is the million-dollar question. So chemical byproducts can be found in cosmetics, food, literally anywhere, even if they're not intentionally added to the formulation, through many ways, such as exposure during manufacturing, maybe even the packaging that it's in, or even just the entire supply chain. You only have so much control over what actually ends up being in the end sort of product. So this is just, an example of that. And like I said earlier, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're intentionally used or that they may even be as harmful to the end user. The study gave different ways for us to understand how many of each chemical is found in each product, but they seem to mainly focus on organotin, because that's really the main chemical in question for this particular study. We don't know exactly how much of, for example, phthalates were found in Rebundle's product. We do have an idea of the confidence level, and that was the way that they portrayed that finding. You'll see that the confidence level of, I believe, the Prop 65 chemicals was, way lower for the Rebundle product, and the same for the amount of phthalates in there as well. In the study, in different types of hair products, interestingly, they detected benzophenone. They detected styrene, which is also used in cosmetics. They detected benzene, which, can be a byproduct of a lot of different chemicals. They detected naphthalene, which, I've also used in formulating products as well. So several different byproducts were detected across different types of hair products, from kanekalon to banana to silk to even human hair, which I think says a lot.
What's next? What should people take away from this study?
There's a saying that chemists know, which is that the dose determines the poison. And I think a study like this does such a great job of helping people understand the fine line between dose and poison. Everything is a chemical, but companies like Rebundle do a really good job of being rigorous and understanding the impacts that their chemicals have in their products.
Thank you so much, AJ. I can't wait for people to dive in and have their own opinions on this study, and we're so grateful for your contribution to the community.
I am grateful for all of the work you do, Sierra. And thank you to the authors again.